Hello, hello, and welcome to June's podcast on all things well-being and spiritual on a pagan path, but not exclusively pagan. In other words, it doesn't really matter what path you walk, you might find something of interest here for your journey. So everyone is welcome, and it's all inclusive. If you've been with me for a while, you know I follow a path of animism under the umbrella of pagan, which is about everything having a consciousness, and that includes plants, trees and rocks, or I suppose you could call it the higher self in spirit and the lower self is here on earth. Now, it means we have the ability to tap in and work with that consciousness in a symbiotic way to help each other through this experience of being human. Plants, trees and rocks, or gemstones, have a great deal to teach us on different levels, and I believe we should all learn one new thing every day, and this can only happen if we are open to those new things finding us. It hasn't even got to be on a spiritual level. It could even be learning a new skill or learning how to make something. It's all about whatever works for you on your path. If it's your first time here, then welcome. I hope you find something useful or helpful. Please give me a like, subscribe, hype. If you think my waffling on can be of use to you and perhaps to others. If you have been with me for longer, then thanks again for popping in and being here. Just showing up and giving me your time as I waffle on does mean a lot. And don't forget, you can always leave a comment and I will do my best to reply as soon as possible. I love hearing what makes your path work for you. And you never know, some comment that you leave or something you like to talk about could be a spark for someone else who is just having a reading through of the comments. Because we're all here and we can to help each other, whatever we can do to support each other on this path. We're not here solely to walk through this path on our own. We are here to help each other. So, with that said, what does June have in store for us? Well, June is the halfway point of the year. It is marked in ceremony by the Summer Solstice, and this is a 3-day important time on the wheel of the year when the sun appears to stand still in the sky. For our ancient relatives who honoured this time, it was probably a great time of celebration. Now, if you'd like to know more about traditions of the past and how you can celebrate the solstice, please listen in to my previous podcast, which I have linked below in the description box, as I really don't want to repeat it again. Not because it's like SSDD, actually it is same shit, different day. It is all the same. It becomes too samey, and everybody has something different that they want to do. And then I think you then get the mentality of, oh, should I be doing this? I haven't got time to do this. Now I don't feel as if I'm following my path. So if you want to go and have a listen and to me waffling on about the solstice, that's fine. There's lots of things in there that you can do working with all different plants and what have you. I can't actually remember what I waffled on about. But it's there. It's linked below in the description box if that bit floats your boat. So June represents growth. Those seeds that you planted in spring are now well rooted and strong, and they are blooming, perhaps bearing the fruit of your work towards this point. June is also the month of love, named after the Roman goddess of love and marriage, Juno. Now, if May was about the meeting of energies, coming together of the gods and the goddesses, and the opening of the sexual power within, then June is the time of love and prosperity, and it's also a time for balance and harmony, and a time to connect with ourselves. To those who follow the Wiccan path, it's known as Litha, and to those of us on the path of Druid, it's known by the Welsh name of Alban Heaven. Not heaven as in Heaven, it's Heaven as in Hefin, just in case you were wondering, thinking, oh, it's lovely, it's talking about heaven. It's not. And it actually means the light of summer or the light of the shore. So if we wanted to celebrate, I will talk a little bit about the solstice because it'll be foolish not to. The summer solstice is that moment when daylight reigns supreme. It's the longest day and the shortest night of the year, kind of a cosmic pause. And this is why I say the sun appears to stay in the same point in the sky for about 3 days. And it's the highest point that it will ever reach in the sky before it begins its slow descent towards autumn. Obviously, in the Northern Hemisphere, this occurs around June the 20th to the 21st, and it has been revered for millennia as a time of joy, fertility, gratitude for the Earth's abundance. And in the Southern Hemisphere, it's actually the winter solstice, in theory. And I know, though, that I have friends out there who are celebrating, even though it's winter, they are celebrating the summer solstice. It's whatever works for you on your path. From the ancient stone circles of Stonehenge to the bonfire traditions of Northern Europe, cultures across the globe have marked this turning point with music, feasts and firelight, because who doesn't love a good bonfire? Today, the solstice offers a chance to reconnect with the rhythms of nature and celebrate the vibrant energy of summer. So why does the summer solstice matter? Well, maybe it does and maybe it doesn't, and that will all depend on your path. You may have heard of the summer solstice, but you may just know it as the longest day of the year. But the solstice is more than just an astronomical event. It's a symbolic reminder of balance. It represents the height of light before the gradual return of darkness, encouraging us to savour the present moment, honour growth and express gratitude for what has flourished in our lives. It is also the time of the Holly King and the Oak King's battle for dominance over the coming 6 months leading up to the winter solstice. Now, the archetypes of the Holly and Oak Kings were created by Robert Graves, who published in 1948 his book The White Goddess. Now, whatever your opinion is of the White Goddess, if you know about it, just remember it is solely his own theory of mythology and is not true. Now, there is nothing wrong with opinions. Writers have been doing this for many, many years, haven't they? But too many people have believed this book to be a true account of British mythology and have been quite shocked to find out it was all his own opinion. There are additional interpretations you can find online. However, the Oak King represents light, growth and fertility, and his reign was from winter solstice to the summer solstice, when life flourishes. The Holly King symbolises darkness, rest and introspection, and he rules from summer solstice to winter solstice, when our nights lengthen and we prepare for stillness and going within. So although we may think we should be in the realm of the Oak King over the summer because the oaks are out there flourishing right now, we have just entered into the realm of the Holly King, and he will lead us forward for the next 6 months. Now, if you're looking for ways to celebrate or rituals, here are some of my, as I usually do, give some ideas. So what about a sunrise gratitude gathering? Wake early to greet the sun, and as its first rays appear, take a few moments to reflect on what you're thankful for and set intentions for the months ahead. Maybe have a bonfire or candle circle. Fire has long been a solstice symbol, representing the sun's power. So gather friends or family together, light a bonfire or candles in a safe space, and prepare some stories to share or perhaps some songs to sing. Someone bring along a guitar, have a barbecue, some food, whatever, and set your intentions for wishes for the season. Nature offering, or maybe make some flower crowns. Create a small offering of seasonal flowers, herbs or fruits to leave in a natural space as a gesture of thanks. Making flower crowns can be a really joyful, hands-on way to connect with the beauty of summer. And a seasonal feast. Prepare a meal using fresh local produce like berries, leafy greens and herbs. They're perfect for this. Eat it outdoors if possible, letting the warmth of the light of the day infuse your celebration. There should be so much bounty available now if you like to grow your own. But there are lots of extra crops out there in farmers markets, and have a look to see what is seasonal and what you can cook with, perhaps courgettes, marrows, peas, if they're all coming up and they're all starting to blossom. And look for things that are that little bit more different. Add some flowers. Check online, obviously, and perhaps add some flower petals in, like things like nasturtiums. Nasturtiums are lovely to eat in a salad. Sort of stretch your boundary instead of... I'm terrible for it. You know what it's like? You run into the local supermarket, grab anything off the shelf and go, I'll have a bit of salad, that'll do. And you have the most boring salad ever, and then realise that really you should be growing your own crops. If you like to drink tea, then this next herbal brew takes a few hours to brew in the sun, but it may be something you'll enjoy doing. So think about the preparation. And then you can enjoy it and perhaps sip whilst sitting outdoors. So go grab a journal or something to write this recipe on, because you may like to try it, or kind of pinpoint the timing so that you know where it is. Now, it is a solstice tea, and you'll need a litre or a quart of cold filtered water. 4 herbal tea bags, something like maybe hibiscus, chamomile, or mint. They work well on their own, or you could have them all together. Obviously, you don't have to have it as loose. If you have tea bags, that's perfectly fine. Now, you can use, obviously, like I said, dried herbs if you've got somewhere that you can get them from. And if you're going to do that, use a teaspoon of each herb needed, up to the equivalent of the same of 4 tea bags. So to kind of work it out, normally it's about a teaspoon, isn't it? And I always do a teaspoon of herbs and one for the pot, so that will depend on which one you favour. You can put a slice of lemon in and a sprig of fresh rosemary, and have some honey or agave to taste, just sitting waiting. Now, the instructions for this. In a jug or a kilner jar that will hold that litre or quart of water, place in the tea bags of your choice lemon and the rosemary. Fill with water and cover it just loosely to keep out any intruders, because it will smell nice, and if you have it on a window ledge, the flies are going to be hovering around thinking, oh gosh, look, she's made us lunch. Place it in direct sunlight for 3 to 5 hours with the lid on. I mean, it doesn't have to have a lid. If you've got like a piece of muslin or anything that will let it breathe, but also will not let the little intruders in. When ready, after the 3 to 5 hours, remove the tea bags, add your chosen sweetener if desired, and then leave it to chill for about an hour or so in the fridge. When it's nice and cool, you can pour it over some ice or garnish it with edible flowers and another slice of lemon. And obviously, if you like, you can add in some more ice cubes from filtered water. Brewing the tea beneath the midsummer sun allows for absorption of the energy. The herbs added in brings about the purification, peace, emotional balance, depending on whatever you're using. So whatever you feel you need at this time, whatever works for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be the tea bags I've suggested. I've only suggested those because they're probably available. But if you feel that you need something else from a tea bag, then have your favourite tea bag ready. Use that, or loose tea even. But it's the point of having your water in the sunlight to be able to take in that solar energy. Whilst it's steeping, you could set your intentions, perhaps sit with your hands around it and envision your intentions for the next few months going into the tea. And also you can do this when you're drinking it. If you like, you could say a little prayer to the sun, which would be, you might want to write this down, or you might want to make something up that you can say whilst you're drinking. So something like, "O blazing sun, at highest reign, bless our hearts and fields again. Your golden rays our spirits lift. We thank you for your sacred gift." Something as simple as that whilst you're drinking or setting your intentions, doing whatever, whilst you're working with that solar energy. And this is the strongest time of the year for solar energy, so it's a good thing to really set those intentions. I know this time I'm not going to say chuck out all the bad stuff. Forget the bad stuff. We're here to just have a party. So drink your tea, have a fun time, and use the solstice energy to your advantage. Moons. We like to do moons, and we are going to jump this time into the new moon, because this falls at roughly 3:54 a.m. on June the 15th, and that's GMT. So obviously check the time it first appears for you in wherever you, obviously, country you're listening in from. So every new moon has always been a powerful symbol of fresh starts, hidden potential, and quiet transformation. So in June, this lunar phase carries a particularly potent spiritual energy, and it's one that invites us to pause, reflect, and plant the seeds for the new life we wish to create. So although we've got seeds blossoming and we've got all that intentional work that we've done, there's still months ahead. Never ever stop setting your intentions for what you wish to achieve. We just have to set them differently to work with the extra energies that we've got that are coming along. So now you're looking at planting the seeds for moving forward. Now, June's moon often falls during a period of transition. Now, it's the midpoint of the year. So spiritually, this is a checkpoint. It's a moment to assess where you've been, what you've achieved, where you're going, and whether your actions align with your deeper truth. Depending on your zodiac sign that it occupies, the new moon in June can also bring about different flavours of energy. So I am not a big, I'm not a forecaster. I don't do astrology, and so I don't even read my star signs because I'm just like, well, really? I've never yet found a star sign when I've looked in online in the papers that's actually gone, oh yeah, that's me. No, I mean, I am my star sign, if you like, but the prediction of what would happen to me over a month period, nah, never happened yet. So therefore, I set my own intentions. I don't listen to all that or read that rubbish that's in your local newspaper. They're funny, aren't they? Reading what's online. Nah, we'll leave that one. Spiritual themes of the June new moon. Say that when you've had a couple of Pims. New beginnings. So the dark sky of the new moon represents a blank canvas. Spiritually, it's the perfect time to set your intentions, not just wishful thinking, but be clear. Heartfelt goals infused with purpose. Using that solar energy to get stuff done. With no moonlight to distract, the energy turns inwards. So when you've got a new moon, you have no moonlight, obviously, because you can't really see it up there in the sky. It can actually be called a dark moon. It is a new moon, but you just can't see it. Meditation, journaling, or quiet walks can help you hear the subtle messages from your higher self. You have to have that time to just stop and listen. And this is the biggest thing that we are rubbish at doing, some of us, including myself, hands up, is stopping and going, right, what does my higher self need to tell me? Instead of me booming around like a pinball, crashing off the side of the walls and attempting to get stuff done. Sometimes we just need to stop and go, all right, I have erred and strayed from my path. What does my higher self need to tell me? June's new moon also carries a cleansing quality, so it helps you release emotional baggage and make space for lighter, more joyful experiences. And as summer approaches in the Northern Hemisphere, as we come along to the new moon, so we hit the new moon in June, and then a few days later we have the summer solstice, and you can harmonise with the season's growth and energy, encouraging you to nurture your dreams as you would your garden. How are we going to work with this June new moon energy? I'm glad I haven't got to say that too many times. Set your intentions with clarity. Write down 3 to 5 intentions that feel deeply aligned with your soul's path. If you can't find 3 to 5 intentions in your head, then you need to connect with your higher self and find that inspiration. Because, again, if you're like me, crashing off the sides of the pinball machine, having that ability to just go, right, okay, I need to stop. I need to listen to myself. What do I need? And align that with your soul's path, and you will find out what you need to be doing. It might take a little bit of time. I'm not saying, switch on, switch off. Sit down, meditate, clink, and you're into your higher self. It might take a little bit of time to sort of say, okay, higher self, I'm listening, I'm open, show me. But it might not turn up on the same day that you're sitting there with your journal open, and you might have a blank moment, but something will come along and you'll go, aha. And it's those moments, they are really great. Create yourself a ritual. So light a candle, burn some sage or some incense, and visualise your intentions taking root. You could do that. Connect with water. Now, since June's new moon often carries emotional, intuitive energy, spend some time near water or taking perhaps a cleansing bath or shower to amplify your spiritual connection. If you get a chance to, if you maybe you live near a stream that's safe to walk through, or you're by the sea, then sometimes it's good to just go and spend a bit of time with the water, because you then work with your intuitive energy, and that's really good. So, I mean, obviously, as we're coming up to June, I mean, I know people are perhaps booking their vacations, their holidays away, and if you're going somewhere where there is going to be some water, then take advantage of that moment of, nobody's going to know that you're pottering down to the beach with a bucket and spade in your hand, you're playing with the kids. They're not going to know that you're there doing a bit of a soulful meditation. Nobody needs to know. It's so easy to do. Been doing it for years. No excuses. Go give it a try. Practice gratitude. Now acknowledge what has already blossomed in your life to invite in more abundance. Once we acknowledge what has happened, whether it's good, whether it's bad, we are going to bring in more abundance anyway, because we're accepting these things that are on our path for whatever reason. So give that one a go as well. So the new moon is not about instant results. It's about trust. Just as seeds take time to sprout, your intentions need patience, care and belief. The June new moon is your invitation to step into the second half of the year with renewed hope, emotional clarity, and a heart open to all possibilities. And then, just as we've done all that, we have June's full moon. So we've had the new moon on the 15th, partying with that one. Then we've had the summer solstice on the 21st. And then on the 30th of June, in the Northern Hemisphere, we have the full moon. Work your timings for that one again as well, wherever you are on the globe. June's full moon's Celtic name is the honeymoon, because this is the time that the hives are bursting at the seams. Now, its Native American name is the strawberry moon, which originates from the peak strawberry harvest in the Northern Hemisphere by the Native Americans, but its meaning goes far beyond fruit and honey. It is a time of ripening, gratitude and soulful reflection. Not that we need to name it. I mean, it's really more important how significant the energies are and how we can work with them. So it doesn't really matter what its Celtic or Native American name is. They are just symbols of the time of the year. It is, though, a celestial event that is rich with symbolism, beauty and spiritual energy. The spiritual meaning of this moon, well, it marks a turning point in the year that we have already mentioned with the solstice and with also the work that you may wish to do with the new moon. You could celebrate abundance, so just as strawberries are ripe and ready to pick, this moon invites us to acknowledge the fruits of our labour, both tangible and emotional. You could use the full moon's light to illuminate what no longer serves you, making it the perfect time to get rid of any old patterns, anything that you're not happy with, that you perhaps you've been doing on your path for a while and thinking, well, this just isn't sitting right with me. I'm not happy with this. Chuck it out. You could deepen your gratitude. This lunar phase encourages us to pause and appreciate the blessings already present in our lives. We have lots of things in our lives where we might be out there searching for something new, but there's a lot in our lives that we already have and really need just be grateful for. Growth and fulfillment. So seeds planted earlier this year, obviously, if we've said it before, hopefully they're all blossoming, preparing yourself ready for the next set of intentions that you are looking into. Emotional clarity. Again, the moon's brightness can bring hidden feelings to the surface. So you're firstly working with the emotional side of the new moon and some water. And then you've got the full moon as well. Always a big connection to nature. The strawberry moon is, or honeymoon, depending on which one you want to go with, is a reminder to align with the earth cycles and live in harmony with the seasons. So some simple rituals to harness its energy. Moonbathing. Spend a few minutes outside under the moonlight, breathing deeply and visualising your intentions. Gratitude journaling. Write down 3 things you're thankful for and 3 things you are ready to release. Crystal charging. Place your crystals under the moonlight to cleanse and recharge their energy. And maybe if you like affirmations, then perhaps try this one. I honour the cycles of life. I release what no longer serves me and welcome abundance with an open heart. It's a spiritual checkpoint, a reminder that life moves in cycles and that every ending makes space for a new beginning. And by tuning into its energy, you can align your intentions with the natural rhythm of the universe. So we have come to that time when I add a little bit of footage in of my field. It's very busy in there at the moment. I have lots of buttercups, which always take over a horse field if you're not careful. I have dandelions, dock leaves, nettles, cleavers and burdock, and also the dreaded thistle, which is so small at the moment it's not even noticeable. But it's prickly and the horses' mouths are very soft and sensitive, so it can cause problems in some areas if it's not taken out. The horses basically can't eat the grass, so the grass grows a bit too long and they go, we're not eating that grass now because we don't like it. If you have horses, I'm sure you will probably now be agreeing with me and going, oh yeah, we know this one. Horses will eat the short, sweet grass, the new grass, over the slightly older, longer grass during the growing season. And to be fair, can you blame them? That's not to say, though, that they don't devour it during winter, so even if it does grow, but obviously this time of the year, the field will have to be topped, as we call it, by the tractor giving it a mow. And it keeps down the weeds and the pesky plants and obviously the grass, because I cannot physically dig out the long roots of dandelions and dock leaves on a 5-acre field, which is equivalent to 5 football pitches. It would be a 24/7 never-ending job for 6 months. So coming up, here is the footage of the field. I hope you enjoyed that. Isn't it amazing how much it's changing? I'm really looking forward actually to putting all the little reels together of the whole year to see how much it's changed, because I can remember back in January when we had sort of frosty days, and looking now at the buttercups, it's hard to imagine that we even had that frost. So it's going to be interesting when we put them together and run it as a reel at the end of this year. So my final thought: the summer solstice and the June moons are a reminder to pause, breathe, and soak in the fullness of life. Give yourself a break from everything. Don't get overwhelmed with thinking you have to do so much on your spiritual path. Do what feels right, not what you think you should be doing. The internet is full of people offering advice on what you should do to celebrate this time of the year. But if none of that resonates with you, or you just can't fit any more into your life, then it's not your path at this time. Don't feel you have to be a witch to be a witch, or you have to follow a path of druidry to be a druid. All you need is to follow your path and to do what is right for you. If it doesn't bring you joy, then stop and look again. You could get up early or stay up late and watch the sunrise at Stonehenge, courtesy of English Heritage, who live stream it every year. Of course, this is dependent on the weather. I will leave a link below in the description to their YouTube channel if you want to take a look at that. I am also adding in a short solstice meditation. And I say short because if they are longer than 10 minutes, YouTube will flood them with adverts, which is not very nice when you're just having a very quiet moment to yourself. It will be live in time for the 3 solstice days, but of course, as with all my meditations, just use them when you feel like it. It doesn't matter that you're doing a winter solstice one in the middle of spring. It's what your body and what your higher self is suggesting that you do, and that's how you walk your path. If you have found something helpful today, please give me a like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you are able to hype anything, that would be great. Share it out amongst anyone you know, that would be brilliant. And always remember, whether you rise with the sun, dance around a fire, or simply spend time in nature, the key is to celebrate the light, both in the world and within yourself, your way. With much love and solstice light. Until next time, bye for now.